Welcome back. Uh, Today we will be looking at Ielts reading part 3, true, false, not given question type. This is the general introduction slide. 14 types of questions are there. The student has 60 minutes. He has to answer 40 questions across 3 passages. Each passage will have about 3 to 4 different types of questions, and it is imperative that the student must know all the question types, and he should have all the necessary skills to answer all the question types to get a good band. This is the list of the question types. In the previous presentation, we have already looked at matching heading questions. And in this presentation, we will be looking at true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. I have clubbed both these question types as they are very similar in nature and require a same kind of answering strategy. So in true, false, not given questions, a set of statements will be given along with the passage, and the student has to decide whether the information that is given in each of the statement is agreeing with the text. If it agrees with the text, then the statement is considered as true. If it disagrees or contradicts or opposes the text in the passage, then it is considered as false. If it is not mentioned in the text, it is considered as not given. These statements and these definitions will be given to the student in the question paper itself for every time this question is asked. So the student must be able to identify whether a particular statement is true, false, or not given based on these parameters only. Most of the times, many students get confused between what is false and what is not given. Therefore, it is compulsory that the student understands the difference properly. False when the passage and the text statement contradict or oppose each other. Not given when there is no match of information between the statement and the passage text. As we go and as we delve into the examples, further clarity will be attained by the student. So what is the difference between true, false, not given, and yes, no, not given, and why have I clubbed them? In true, false, not given, the text will contain factual information about the topic, and the statements will require the student to find factual information. Yes, no, not given, the text will contain opinions, views, or beliefs of the writer or other mentioned people in the text, and the student has to identify these statements, which are essentially opinions, views, or beliefs expressed. The parameters of judging them is the same. It is still going to be whether it is agreeing or whether it is opposing or whether it is not mentioned. So because the parameters are the same, it is only the type of the information that is being scanned for is different. I have clubbed them together. So basically, the difference arises from the type of the text that the student is dealing with. If the type of the text is a factual one, then the type of the question that will be asked is true, false, not given. But if the type of the text is discursive or it is based on discourse, then it is yes, no, not given. There are some 5 to 6 steps that the student has to understand carefully when answering this type of questions. Initially, what the student has to keep in mind is that these questions do require some time and they require some attention. They are not very easy to deal with, uh, unlike some other question types. So initially, the student might feel a little bit uh, consumption of time at this question type. However, this should not discourage the student from attempting these questions. What the student needs to understand is that the more he practices this question type, the more refined his skills will become. So what are the skills that we are talking about? So the first thing that he should have is that he should be able to understand the instructions that are given to him properly, whether that particular text is opinion-based one or a factual one, and whether that it's a true, false, not given or a yes, no, not given type of question, and read the instructions carefully and look at the task that is given to him with understanding. And then he needs to analyze each statement that is given to him before reading the text and try to understand the nuances and relevant information accurately. Like with any other task, he has to identify the keywords. He has to see how the sentences can be rephrased. He just needs to imagine this stuff mentally. He need not note it down anywhere, or he need not put it down on a pencil or anything. He just needs to underline the keywords and mentally note what could be the possible synonyms for that. Or not all possible synonyms and qualifying words in the statements. That's what as I have been mentioning. And stay alert for variations such as all, some, always, or often. These are the words that we call qualifying words. And these words sometimes change the meaning of the entire uh, statement. So they might change a statement from true to false, or they might even change a statement from false to not given. So careful attention must be given to words such as all, some, always, often, which have the capacity to change the meaning. So there are different ways in which students can answer this particular type of questions. One way is to look at the passage, read it, and then go to the questions and try to find out the answer with the information of the location of the uh, text. But this might be not suitable for all the students. So what other techniques can we do? Read the first passage, look up for answer in the first few questions. If you found an answer, read the whole sentence carefully and then answer the question. When there are no more answers left in the first paragraph, then move on to the next paragraph and repeat this strategy. So you're going para by para. You read the first two paragraphs or first one paragraph, and then you go to the questions and try to see the statements that are relevant to the first few paragraphs, and then come back to the text, read the next paragraph, go back. You juggle between the sentences or the statements that are given to you and the text. This works out because the statements that are given to you are in order of the text, which means that the first statement usually correlates with the first paragraph. The second statement usually correlates with the second paragraph, the last one with the last paragraph, usually. So it could be like the first statement could be anywhere between first and the second paragraph also sometimes. Because the paragraphs are given like this, you can do this kind of juggling between the passage and the statements. Whatever might be the case, whether you want to read the entire passage and then go to the statements, or whether you want to read one statement, go and read one paragraph, and then come back and read the second statement and go and read the second paragraph and try to match both of them with the information that you have found in the paragraph, it is all right. Whatever might be the case, it should be an efficient procedure for you. Because ultimately, what kind of strategy are you comfortable with? That is more important. So what kind of technique you follow is up to you. But as long as you are able to do it efficiently, you are able to do it accurately, you are able to do it within the stipulated time, well and good. What are the other steps that are involved? You have to underline the keywords like with any other question type, and look for the keywords or synonyms in the text and engage in detailed reading to determine. Suppose you have found the keyword in the statement and in the text. Once you are there, read the statement in which the keyword was found very carefully and try to see whether the same meaning is being portrayed in the question. If there is even a slight mismatch, then you have to decide whether that particular statement is a false or whether that particular statement is a not given statement. Okay. There are three things that you should remember when you're dealing with this question. You have to see that in case of true, it has to exactly match. Even though the words are different, the meaning of the sentences must match. Must match. Okay. And you have to look carefully for the words that alter the meaning. Small words that may alter the meaning. As we go through the examples, I'll give you, you will understand how small words change the meaning. And if you're struggling to find the answer, even despite detailed reading of the passage, do not spend more time on it. Do not waste your time on it, because probably it is a not given. Okay. So what are the tips? Answers match the order of the statement, as I have already told you, quickly locate the keywords and then focus on relevant sections for detailed reading. Check, underline keywords in the statements, go back to the passage, look for the keywords, give a detailed reading where the keyword is located, and then see if the information matches. Ensure that there is at least one of each answer type, true, false, or not given. See, not all the questions that are given to you will be true, not all of them will be false, not all of them will be not given. If you are getting repeated answers, like, all out of 5 questions, if you are getting 4 false or 4 not given or 4 true, obviously something is going wrong. So you need to fine tune your strategy to ensure that you get a good combination of true, false, not given. You should not have same kind of answer for all the questions. That is not going to happen, especially in IELTS. Look out for distracting words, words that are confusing, words that are intended to confuse the student, words that that change the meaning, words that have small presence but can make the sentence mean in an opposite sense. So look out for those words, read each and every word properly. This is why it is time consuming in the initial stages of practice, because you cannot simply scan the words and skim through the statements and then simply go to and rely on entirely on keywords, because keywords alone cannot give you the meaning. You have to do a detailed reading of the statements in which the keywords are located in the passage for correct answers. So what are the other tips? Words like seem, suggest, claim, they might change the meaning of the statement. So look for them, look out for them. Similarly, paraphrase. Sometimes statements won't match word for word, but their meaning matches. Therefore, it becomes a true. So look for paraphrases if you are not able to find keywords. And finally, understand a couple of things. It is not testing of your memory or your knowledge. It is the ability of your understanding of the text. So that is the main reason why true, false, not given is being asked. So it is not testing your ability to memorize something, or not testing your vocabulary base or general knowledge. It is essentially testing how much are you able to understand, how much are you able to make sense of the text that is given to you at multiple levels. And similarly, there will be at least one not given in the questions that are asked to confuse you. The information will not be there anywhere, or even if it is there, it will not be relevant. So make sure that you don't spend too much time. If you have found all the answers except for one, probably it is not given. Most probably it is not given. I have given 3 examples, one for each category. So in the first example, the statement that is given to us is Tina always meets up with her friends after work. The sentence that is present in the text is Tina often gathers with her friends after finishing her work for the day, enjoying their company and sharing stories. So what is the qualifying word? Always in the statement, often in the sentence. Both of them are not the same. Always means every day. In this context, often means sometimes, more than sometimes, regularly. So the statement is false because it is opposite of always. In example 2, the statement that is given to us is recent studies suggest that consuming green tea might positively impact cognitive function. So what is the keyword over here? Recent studies positively impact. What is the sentence that is given in the text? Recent studies indicate that consumption of green tea may have positive effects on cognitive function, although further research is needed to confirm these findings. This statement is true for multiple reasons. For example, that directly we can see a match, recent studies, and we can see a set of synonyms also. Indicate is equal to suggest, positively impact is positive effect, impact, both of them are synonyms, and on cognitive function and impact cognitive function. So it is true because we have matching of the words, we have matching of the synonyms. In the next example, The sentence in the text is the company strives to ensure timely delivery of orders, usually completing them within 24 to 48 hours, depending upon the location and shipping preferences of the customer. So what are the keywords in this particular sentence? Strives, timely delivery, 24 to 48 hours. What is the statement that is given in the question? The company always delivers orders within 24 hours of placements. What is the qualifying word? Always. Is it mentioned in the statement in the text? No. And furthermore, what is there? 24 hours, nowhere is there. It is not mentioned anywhere in the text that within 24 hours. It is not mentioned in the text. It is not mentioned. Therefore, it is not given. It is not opposite of what is given. It is not mentioned in the text. Therefore, it is not given. So far, so good. So now we will look at a demo, a small demo. As I have mentioned, do the following statements. Agree with the information given in the reading passages. In the boxes of your answer sheet, write true if the statement agrees, false if the statement contradicts, not given if if there is no information on the statement. Okay, so let's directly go to the first one. Programmable plans. In electronics, even the most advanced computer is just like a complex arrangement of simple modular parts that control specific functions. The same integrated circuit may be found in an iPhone or in an aircraft. Biologists are creating the same modularity in plants by designing gene circuits that control specific characteristics such as color, size, resistance, drought, etc. The relatively new interdisciplinary field is synthetic biology, the design of genetic circuits, just like in electronics, that control different functions and can be easily placed in one organism or the next. Most of today's synthetic biologists work with simple microorganisms such as E. coli or yeast. A CSU team led by June Medford, Professor of Biology, and Ashok Prasad, Associate Professor of Chemical and Biological Engineering, is doing the same thing, but in much more biological world of plants. So what is the statement that is given to us in the first? The scientists are using a technique from electronics to control specific plant properties. Biologists are creating the same modularity in plants. This is the rephrasing of the whole thing. The scientists are using a technique from electronics to control specific plant properties by designing gene circuit that control specific plant characteristics. Characteristics or properties, both of them are synonyms. Specific plant properties, specific characteristics, control specific plant characteristics, control specific plant properties. Biologists are creating same modularity. Same modularity here refers to electronic circuits or technique from electronics in this case. Therefore, this is true. So biologists are creating the same modularity by designing gene circuits that control specific characteristics. So same modularity refers to same technique as in electronics. Control specific plant characteristics refers to control specific plant properties. Then we have another statement. Some synthetic biologists work with genetic circuits of mammals. Nowhere was the word mammals mentioned in the text. And furthermore, what happens is that most of today's synthetic biologists work with simple microorganisms such as E. coli or yeast is the nearest sentence that we have to this. Because there is no information that is provided, it is not given. We don't know anything about some biologists. Most of today's biologists work with E. coli. Some biologists may work, may not work. This is what I was telling about qualifying words. Some, most. Usually, in a hurry, what the student will think is that this is false because mammals is not given. And because the synthetic biologists are working with simple organisms like E. coli and yeast, So maybe someone may be working, may not be working, but the information is not given. So some synthetic biologists is what is the keyword over here, which is not mentioned. Most work with simple organisms, E. coli and yeast. So some and most, these are the words that the student needs to focus on. Most of the synthetic biologists work with mammals. This is direct false, because we already know that most of today's biologists work with simple microorganisms such as E. coli or yeast. So here the student has to read carefully. If the student is not aware of what kind of difference between microorganisms and mammals, he will be in soup. So this is about true, false, not given. Let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation. These are the places where the textbook questions are mentioned in true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. In total, there are 15 exercises, and I will send detailed notes for all these 15 questions in a Word document. Thank you.